We're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome everyone. My name is Abram Garcia, and I'm the Director of Membership here at the New Jersey State Bar Association. Before we begin, I just wanted to remind you of a few housekeeping matters. Please use the Q&A feature below to ask any questions that you may have. Our presenter today will answer as many questions as possible towards the end of the webinar. There will be no CLE credit for this session. And if you need help accessing Fastcase or have questions about your member benefits in particular, please email membership@njsba.com. Now, for those unfamiliar with Fastcase, Fastcase is the premier American provider of online legal research. The company's research software helps busy legal professionals sort through the clutter, ranking the best cases and statutes first, and enabling users to resort search results to find their answers fast and easy. With Fastcase, NJSBA members have free access to the complete New Jersey law library, including cases of the New Jersey Supreme Court, New Jersey Appellate Division, New Jersey Law Division, as well as cases from the US Supreme Court and US District Court of Appeals. Now, I will introduce our presenter, Sam. Sam is a member of the Fastcase customer support team and works out of Charlottesville, Virginia. They have been conducting training sessions for over 12 years and extensive experience working with customers to facilitate solutions to their questions and problems in a quick and efficient manner. Without further ado, I'll go ahead and give the presentation over to Sam. So take it away, Sam.
Thanks so much, Abram. Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining me for today's presentation. As mentioned, I am one of our senior support representatives, so I'm going to do my best to show you around Fastcase today. We're going to go over pretty much everything. It's a rather comprehensive program. We'll cover the basics of what it is that you're looking at on the site, how to navigate it, and then a couple of tips and tricks along the way. As mentioned, I will address questions at the end of the presentation, as many as possible in the time given. And so please do feel free to type those in as they come up, and I'll answer them all at the end. I'm going to be sharing my screen with you today, so I'm going to go ahead and turn off my camera once I start that process to make sure everything loads smoothly as possible. And we'll go ahead and get started. All right, so everyone should be able to have my Fastcase screen up on their screen now. And you can see the Fastcase logo is provided at the top center of the page. This is the Fastcase homepage. Now, in order to get here, you'll want to log into the New Jersey Bar Association's website and click the link that they provide for Fastcase access. There's no additional login. You don't have any extra credentials or anything like that to remember. You'll just go to the bar page and log in there. Now, once you've logged in, you'll be placed here on the Fastcase homepage. There are a couple of navigational points that I want to show you. In the upper right corner of your screen, you'll notice an orange circle. This is your account menu. And then towards the left from here, we have our apps and tools menu. This is a icon, sort of depending on your point of reference. This might look like a telephone keypad. It may appear like a waffle or a Rubik's Cube, or just a series of squares. Beyond this, we have our help and support menu, the lovely question mark. The help and support menu is probably the biggest tool I want you to be able to notice and access on the Fastcase page. And that is because if you ever get stuck, the help and support menu will be of most help. From here, we have the library icon, which appears as a clock, and your export queue, which appears as a cloud. So that help and support menu, let's go ahead and talk about what's listed inside of it. From the bottom to the top, we have our More Support link. This is what you can click on to get to our customer support information. That includes a form to message us from, our email address, hours, phone number, that kind of thing. It'll also take you to our support materials page. Above this, we have our hotkeys menu. I really like pointing out this function. If you are navigating Fastcase with a keyboard, this is a listing of the keyboard shortcuts that are functional in our system. We also have a link for our webinar schedule. Fastcase does provide weekly webinars, many of which have been provided CLE accreditation so that you can access those if you would like additional reference points for more materials. We have a link for our video tutorials. These are typically 5 minutes or less in length. And we also have a link for our user guide. Our changelog is provided for those of you who may be more tech inclined, and then our Boolean tips link. This one is really going to come in handy We'll go ahead and give that a click. This gives you a listing of the Boolean operators that function within Fastcase when you're conducting your research. At the left of the menu, you'll see the types of searches you can conduct. At the center column, an example of what you would type in to utilize those searches, and then the description of results provided at the right. So speaking of searching, just below the Fastcase search bar, or excuse me, Fastcase logo, we have our search bar. The Fastcase search bar is a single bar that you can type any information you're looking for into, whether you're typing in a citation, a case name, a statute number. If you're entering keywords, you can conduct natural language searching here as well. And of course, those Boolean operators can be typed in. At the right of the search bar is the jurisdictions menu. When you give this a click, you'll want to make sure you give the menu full time to load so there are no gray bars present on the screen. And you can then choose as many jurisdictions as you'd need to. So you could select New Jersey, for example. And then if you were interested in reviewing case law from other states, you could select additional states, or you could select relevant federal materials as you see fit. And then to the right of the menu, you can indicate what type of documents you would like to search for, whether you're only searching cases or only searching statutes, or you can leave the all primary and secondary box checked, and that will allow you to search all of the New Jersey database at one time. Something interesting when you check these databases is it's going to expand and tell you exactly what's being included in your search. So here, when I check cases for New Jersey, the menu expands and tells you exactly what cases are going to be included in your results. So if at any point in time you wanted to say add Third Circuit, you can certainly add that checkbox as well. And let's say you don't need, the Orphans Court. You can uncheck that box. So you can really fine tune your selections to exactly what you're looking for. Upon making your choices, you'll click Save and Continue at the top in order to proceed. So we'll go ahead and do that. Now you can see there's a multitude of blue boxes that show up here. This is to indicate each of the libraries that you have selected so that you know exactly what you're searching within. If you would like to, you can click Show More to see all of them, as there are many, many in this selection. But this is probably unlikely. This is not typical for the search that you'll most likely be doing. So let's go ahead and reset that. We can do that by clicking the Jurisdictions menu and clicking the Reset icon here at the top of the screen once the menu loads. This resets your selections back to the Fastcase default of all states, all federal, all primary and secondary. What you'll most likely be doing when you're conducting your research, I'm making an assumption here, but it's our most likely used source. And that would be just checking New Jersey and then either leaving all primary and secondary or specifically choosing cases and not necessarily making any additional or changing those selections and clicking Save and Continue. You'll notice that there's a nice, neat New Jersey cases all box that appears instead of all of those series of the various courts. When you are conducting your research, many times conducting a search is exactly what you'll want to do. But there are other times where browsing the library may be more beneficial. Say, for example, you would like to review an entire subsection of statutes, or if you're pretty certain you know where the statute is located and you just don't want to type it in, you know exactly what part of the law you're aiming for. So instead of conducting a search for it, you really just want to hop right to it, to go through it as if you would a book or a table of contents or an index. To do this, you'll click the Browse button. This is provided here just below the search bar, and it says Browse Libraries. Now, when I click on this, I'm taken to Maryland because of where I'm currently working from and how my account is set up. But when you click that menu, you'll be taken directly to New Jersey. Now, regardless of where you're taken, you can always change the jurisdiction that you're browsing through. You'll notice over at the left here, there's a box that says Change Jurisdiction by Typing. When you give this a click, you have the opportunity to scroll through the materials, or you can begin typing and then click on the selection that you need. So I'm just going to hop over to the New Jersey Library. You'll notice on our Browse menu, the screen is divided into two sections with primary material on the left and secondary material provided on the right. The primary material is going to contain items such as case law, court rules, your legislative materials such as your Constitution, acts, session laws, statutes, administrative codes and regulations will also be included here. under the secondary materials, you'll see a listing of commentary items, treatises and books, law journals and reviews, blog articles, that kind of thing. The commentary materials are not included with your bar membership. These are all publications that are provided on behalf of a publisher such as Full Court Press or Little or Mendelssohn, another commonly known publisher. And these materials are available to purchase if you would like, and those are sort of a la carte. So if you needed to access a particular Full Court Press material, you could click on that and purchase it. You'll notice this one particular item here has a press tag icon next to it. That's because, so as a Fastcase administrator, I have access to almost every material, but I have not yet purchased this one, and so you'll see the price tag icon. That's because it does not yet currently exist within my personal library, but it is available for access. So when you go to access this, you'll probably see a multitude of price tags unless you have already purchased that particular publication. You'll also notice there's a listing for practice aids here. The jury instructions, both the model civil and model criminal jury instructions, or jury charges rather, are located over here under the secondary materials. So if you're trying to locate and access those, this is where you would be able to review that content. Under our primary material, I mentioned that we have court rules, legislative materials such as statutes, administrative codes, and I pointed out a couple of icons that are associated, such as that price tag icon. Another icon that you'll notice is the circle icon, and there is indeed a small I in there, although my vision does not make that particularly easy to see. Regardless, when you hover over the tooltip, what it's going to do is it's going to let you see the currency of that particular section. So the New Jersey statutes is what we're hovering over presently. We can see that that's current through legislative session 2022-65. It was last updated on August 28th and was last checked for updates just yesterday. You can do similar for the court rules. You'll see the New Jersey court rules are provided here on the left. If we hover over this, we can see they are current as amended through December 21 of 2021, and they were last updated July 2nd. Now, what you can do with these materials, if there is an I icon or that lovely little 3 bars icon here, this indicates that that particular section of information is browsable. So you can click on it and actually navigate through that material in an index table of contents fashion. So we'll click on the New Jersey statutes as an example. You'll notice that this is going to provide you with a listing of editions. Fastcase does provide access to, of course, the current law, but you can also review past versions as available. So we'll click on the 2022 edition. You'll notice this provides you with a listing of titles that you can then scroll through in order to access the information that you're looking for. So we'll have this full listing of titles provided here. And then when you are ready to access a particular title, all you would need to do is, of course, give it a click. So we'll just click on Acts, Laws, and Statutes. You can see here, this provides us with the listing of chapters that are available. Clicking on a particular chapter then provides you with the listing of statutes that that chapter holds. So this is opening in an index or table of contents fashion with an expandable and collapsible menu. So if you're not actually interested in seeing Title 1, say, for example, you actually needed Title 10, you can certainly navigate directly to that. Switching between these items is fairly simple. Now, when you're ready to view a statute itself, you'll just click on the statute. That's going to load the statute over on the right side of your screen with the outline still being available on the left. This makes it very easy to navigate between the statutes so that you can review a full chapter pretty simply. So I can just quickly navigate to the next statute and the next statute and the next statute, as you can see, and that continues to load the statutes themselves on the right. And again, these materials are expandable and collapsible. So if you needed to jump to a different chapter, that's pretty simple as well. You'll notice that each of the subsections has a download icon next to them. Now you can download the statute individually by clicking on the document download icon. But if you are interested in downloading, say, all of chapter 10.2 here, you can click the corresponding download document icon. This will allow you to download the full document set on one document. So if I were to download, say, this particular statute, I'm only downloading this statute itself. But if I choose to download here at chapter 10.2, this is going to download all of the statutes held within that chapter. Similarly, if I wanted to download all of Title 10, I do have that availability. You would click on the download icon to the left of the Title 10 listing, and that would allow you to download all of the statutes within all of the chapters inside of Title 10. So you'll notice this is going to ask you, are you sure you'd like to download? And that's because it can be a rather robust document. So it's something to keep in mind. Now you'll also notice when we're viewing the document, there are several document items that are provided. So in our title bar here, the main one I want to point out right now is this A icon. This is for our annotations, and I'm not terribly familiar with this statute, so here we are. But this would provide you with a listing of cases in the appellate level or higher that had mentioned that particular statute as available. Again, that's by clicking the A icon. Now, at any time, you can return to the Fastcase homepage very simply by clicking the Fastcase logo in the upper left corner. So we've covered the items in the upper right corner of the screen. We've covered the upper center of the screen. The last two items on the homepage are the Fastcase blog and Docket alarm items. So the Fastcase blog icon you can see is currently lit up in this orange color, while the Docket alarm icon is neutral in color. This indicates the colored in item is currently selected. This is just going to provide you with a blurb of recent information coming off of the Fastcase blog, helping you stay up to date with what Fastcase is presently doing or discussing. The Docket alarm icon will provide you with the opportunity to learn more information about our sister site Docket Alarm, should that be of interest to you. And again, those are toggleable so that you can navigate them as you see fit. So let's go ahead and talk about searching. Searching is the primary function utilized within Fastcase. While browsing is available and you can navigate through those materials efficiently, searching is our #1 utilized function of our website, and it's sort of what we're built for. I mentioned that you can type pretty much anything you need to into the single search bar, and that is absolutely true. You can type in keywords, you can type in your Boolean operators, natural language searching, you could type in a citation, a case name, you can even type in a statute number. What I'm going to do for demonstration today, of course, and I am choosing to leave my jurisdiction as primary and secondary all, but before entering your search information, you do want to be sure you choose the jurisdiction. So again, you would click the jurisdiction menu and make your selection and click save and continue. I am choosing to search the entire database for the purposes of demonstration for today's presentation. So let's go ahead and begin typing. When you start typing into the Fastcase search bar, you may notice that we have a type ahead feature or a predictive text feature that's going to try and identify what it is you may be looking for. So if you begin typing in a case name, such as Marbury v. Madison, you'll see that we have some suggested documents coming up that we can click on and explore. This eliminates the step of having to run the search and then click on the document that you need. So it just provides a bit of a shortcut. Let's say we're typing in a citation. I happen to have a Southwest 3rd citation memorized. You can see as I have that typed in, again, listed in the suggested documents is the case that I'm looking for. So I can skip the step of running the search and go directly to the document that I need. But you'll also notice this is occurring with the terms that you're typing in. So if I were to run a search, let's do a search for Miranda. Of course, the Miranda case, of course, comes up. But as I'm typing in my search, you'll notice there are some suggested terms that come up as well. These are typically based on the searches that you've previously conducted. I am going to fully type out a search, and I'm going to just hit enter on my keyboard to run that search. You can also click the orange magnifying glass at the right of the search bar to perform the search. Now, what you can see here, first I want to explain what it is that I've searched for. So I typed in 2 words, Miranda and warning. Just separating them with a space acts as the and function. So all of the documents that are provided in my results, all 41,478 of them, contain the term Miranda and the term warning somewhere in the document. They may be side by side or they may be several paragraphs apart. There's no limitation there. They're just in the document somewhere. If I wanted these to be found as a phrase or side by side only, I would need to surround it with quotation marks. and then submit the search. That would tell the system that you're looking for those two terms side by side only. You're looking specifically for the phrase. Alternatively, there are sometimes going to be terms where you may not know the exact connector that was used or the exact phrase, but you know that the two words would be relevant to one another. The best option for that would be a proximity search. So how that would work and look would be, for example, typing in Miranda, then a space, and then you would type in our proximity indicator. That's a W and a / for within, and then you can choose the number of words. So for example, 15. So Miranda space W / 15 space warning would find the term Miranda and the term warning within 15 words of each other. Now that number is a number of your choosing, anything from 2 to 500 or so, whatever your needs may be. I don't particularly find that within 500 is a useful operator personally, but you may have a different experience. Fastcase does not utilize within sentence or within paragraph. We stick explicitly with the number system because it tells you precisely what you're getting. The reason for that mostly being that a lot of the time, computers have to be taught or told rather how to interpret the data that they have access to. And so when you're writing the proximity indicator within 15, you're being very specific. I'm finding this within 15 words of that. If you were to utilize something like within sentence, you would then have to also tell the computer what identifies a sentence, whether you're identifying that as a punctuation mark, a particular set of punctuation marks, or perhaps a certain number of words. And there are a lot of times where that may be written into the machine as within 15 to make sure that the sentence isn't too short. And the same thing for a paragraph. You would have to tell the computer what constitutes a paragraph. Fastcase just kind of skips all of those steps and sticks very strictly with the black and white understanding of these are the numbers, and this is exactly what you're going to get in your results. And so that can be helpful. My recommendation for words within a sentence would be around 15. That allows for lengthy sentences. And then my recommendation for words within a paragraph would be closer to 60, maybe up to 80. There are certainly some more lengthy paragraphs out there, but I find that that gives a good starting point, and you are always able to amend your search as you go along. As you can see, I've just been changing the search at the top of the screen just by typing different things into the search bar, but my results haven't changed, and that's because I haven't submitted that search. So I wanted to change the search to say within 15. I'll just hit enter on my keyboard or click the orange magnifying glass to change that search and to submit the change that I've made. So if you wanted to add to the search, so we have Miranda warning, you could do a space and type in whatever other term you would like to see there, and then submit the search again. If you needed to change the search, it's really just right at the top of the screen, always quickly and readily available. So you can see now we have 22,146 results. But there's no way to jump to a different page of these results. We can currently see 7, and there's a good reason for that. Fastcase utilizes an infinite scroll model. So what that means is the further I scroll down into my listing of results, the more results will load. So I could eventually scroll down to the bottom of this 22,000 plus list of results. I'm not going to. I don't find that that's the best use of my time or yours, but it's an option that's available to you. And that's what that infinite scroll model means. The closer we get to the bottom, the more results load, and that just continues to go on. And then you can always click the scroll to the top icon to get you right back to the top of the listing. Now, what else you may be noticing here in your list of results is we have a multitude of different document types. You can see we have a book, another book, a case, another book, a statute. We have a law journal article as we're scrolling through, even more cases, more law journal articles. What you can see here is that the items in your results are identified by what type of document they are so that you can quickly understand what it is you're reviewing, whether that is a book or a statute or a case, for example. The results are going to be sorted according to relevance by default from Fastcase, but you can change that. We have a sort by option here in the upper right section of the screen, and you can change that to date of newest or oldest, number of times cited, or alphabetically. Something interesting about our relevance sort, a lot of times you're not really told what deems something is more relevant than something else in a search system. Fastcase is the only search platform that I'm aware of that does in fact tell you what deems are relevance and actually would allow you to tweak it. Put a pin in that. We're going to go over it in a little while because it is a customizable point. But just a fun fact about that for now. Now, at the left of your results menu, you'll notice that we have a listing for your current sources, and this is just telling you what database you've searched. I've searched the whole database, so primary and secondary, all. But it also gives you the listing of your available sources. So I could filter this further by a particular data type or a particular jurisdiction. So say, for example, I run this search, I'm looking at it and I realize, really, I meant to only search statutes. Not a problem. You can just click the box next to the statutes listing to provide you only with the statute results. Let's say you only wanted to see cases, but really only the cases in New Jersey. You hadn't made that distinction previously, but you can choose it now. You can click the caret next to the box for cases, and that'll let you choose federal or state. You can expand the state menu, scroll down, and then just check the box for New Jersey. As you can see, this is going to reload your results and provide you with only those particular documents. So there are 281 cases in New Jersey that meet my search criteria. And that item, that opportunity to limit your results remains at the left of the screen. Another access point for limiting your results is not only by data type, but also you can limit them by date range. So you can, with just one click, change your results to provide you only with the documents from the past 20 years, or the past 10 years, or the past year. Additionally, you can type in a specific date range or a specific year range, and then use the check mark here to apply that filter. That would provide you with that limitation in your results as well. The last item provided on the left list is our suggested terms listing. This is really interesting and a helpful point when you're conducting research, especially if you're feeling stuck. This list of suggested terms is a list of terms that are potentially related to the search that you're entering, or even terms of art around that particular topic. This can help you if you're feeling stuck in the search, if it's an area of law that you're not used to conducting your research within, so you're really not sure where to go from there, or if you're just looking for ideas. So here I've got, I've entered a search for Miranda within 15 of warning, and upon scrolling through my list of suggested terms, I'll notice that there's both a plus sign and a minus sign next to each of these items. So Miranda warning, I'm not particularly dealing with a matter of possession, and so I find this would not be helpful in my results. I can click the minus sign to remove it. So you'll see that our search at the top has changed. We now have Miranda within 15 warning, not possession. And our results have come down to 118 documents. And that's because clicking on the minus sign has removed possession or instances of documents discussing possession from my results, because that wouldn't be helpful to me. Now, as we're scrolling through, let's say that we are dealing with a matter of self-incrimination. And so researching that further specifically may be helpful. You could click on the plus sign. You'll notice that is also changing your search. So at the top of your screen in your search bar, you can now see we have self-incrimination and Miranda within 15 of warning, not possession. So we now have 71 documents that are meeting the search criteria that we've accessed and utilized by taking care of and going through that list of suggested terms. So you can really refine your results and drill into your search in a different manner. Now let's take a look at these results. So here we have a listing of just cases, and there are some points that I'd like to point out and just help you identify when you're looking at your list of results. Let's scroll back to the top here on the left just to clean things up. So when you're looking at your results, you'll notice there's a flag icon, a number, and a name. The flag icon is specific to cases. The flag is our authority check report or our citator service, our negative treatment citator. If the flag is neutral in color or not colored in, as you can see here, it means the case has not received any negative treatment by subsequent cases. But if we scroll down, eventually we'll find a case, here we are, State v. Reed, with a red flag. This indicates that the case has received some type of negative treatment by a subsequent case. Now over at the right of the title information for the case, so you'll see we have a flag, a number, the case title, and all the way over here to the right, we have a plus sign and a ribbon. The ribbon will allow you to add the item to your bookmarks. If the ribbon is orange or colored in, it is in your bookmarks, and if it is neutral or not colored in, it is not in your bookmarks. The plus sign is for your export queue. Once again, you can click it to add the item to your export queue. If it's orange, it's there. If it's colored in, it's there. If it's neutral or not colored in, it's not there. So bookmarks, you do have the opportunity to bookmark documents that you would want to access again at a later time in Fastcase. Those are all going to be stored in your My Library menu, which we'll go over further in a moment. Export queue. So rather than downloading individual documents one at a time as you come across them, you might find that it's more helpful for your own workflow to add all of the documents that you'd like to download to a list. And then when you're done for that moment, whether it's you're done on that project or you're done for that day or however you've decided you're finished, you can then access your export queue and download them all at one time. The export queue lives in this cloud icon, and we will discuss that a little bit further in a moment. For now, let's go ahead and actually take a look at the document. So in order to access the document itself, we'll click on the name of the document, in this instance, the case name. You'll see that your results have shifted and remain on the left of your screen, similar to the outline view when browsing. And the document is now on the right side of the screen. This is our standard document setup. Now, if this is too visually stimulating, perhaps you don't want to see the results right now, you don't find that helpful, it's just too much, or you want to be able to see more of the case. We do have a full screen option. It's this square icon in the black title bar. And when you give that a click, it's going to allow the case to take up the maximum width on your screen. Now, we also have a hide toolbar menu item. If you give that a click, it'll allow the case to take up the maximum height on your screen. These two in conjunction together essentially allow you to have the case take up the maximum amount of space in the window. You can always show the toolbar, and you'll notice the square has the corners have inverted. To me, this looks a bit like a flower. And if you give it a click, that will allow the full screen to toggle off so that you again have the division of the results on the left and the document on the right. Also in our document toolbar, you'll notice our lovely ribbon icon. Again, it is orange or colored in because this document is in our bookmarks. You can remove it by clicking the ribbon. That'll take it out, and you can add it by clicking the ribbon. That'll put it in. The flag icon also remains at the left of the document title. And now again, this flag is red because this particular case has received some type of negative treatment by a subsequent case. If you click on the flag, that's going to open the listing of our authority check report. At the top, you'll notice we have the negative treatments that have occurred. And within these negative treatments, we can see what case it was that negatively impacted it, and a very small blurb letting you know what particularly happened in that case. So we've got affirmed in part, reversed in part. Again, affirmed in part, reversed in part, and other grounds, affirmed in part, reversed in part. This really just indicates a sort of little snippet of what may have happened. And you can, of course, click into the document to go take a full look and see how that's impacted the case and whether or not that's going to impact your use of the case. Additionally, you can, as I just did, you'll click on the red bar here to shrink up the negative treatment tab and allow the full list of citations to show. This is the full listing of cases that have cited this case. And these are also clickable, so you can see how other cases are utilizing this particular opinion. You can click the corresponding X icon for the authority check report to exit that particular menu. Now, just as when we were navigating through the outline for statutes, switching between cases or other results is very simple. You can just click on the next item in your listing. You can scroll through the results, scroll back up to the top of the results, and click on any document it is that you would like to review. Here's an example of a document that has a neutral flag or a not colored in flag, indicating this case has not received negative treatment by subsequent cases. If we click the flag icon, the authority check report opens. You'll notice the negative treatment attempts to load, realizes there isn't any, and says 0. And then just gives you the full listing of cases that have cited it. Again, these are clickable, so you can take a closer look at how that's being utilized. Now, your authority check listing can be sorted either by most recent or most cited, and you can filter them by jurisdiction if needed. That's particularly handy in federal cases specifically, but it's handy elsewhere as well. Again, clicking the X icon will close the authority check report and allow you to review the case. Just above our black document toolbar, black title bar, we have our gray document toolbar. In here, you may see several colored boxes. These are for the items that you typed into the search bar and will allow you to toggle directly to them as they appear in the document. You'll also notice a Find in Document field. This will allow you to conduct a search within the document that is on your screen. It doesn't change your overall search. It's not going to impact your results. It just allows you to locate a particular term within that particular document. You'll notice the download document icon. If you give this a click, you'll be able to download this individual document. You can choose between PDF or doc format, or Word format, excuse me. And you can choose if that should be dual column or single column, and if you'd like to highlight the terms that you searched for. Next to the download icon, you'll notice a share icon. This particularly comes in handy if you wanted to add the document to your export queue. So from the results, you would just click this plus sign inside of the square to add it to your export queue. To add the document from the document page, you'll click Share Document, Add to Export Queue. You'll also notice you have the opportunity to email the document. You can email this to one person at a time. So if you have multiple people you'd like to email it to, you'll need to utilize the document email feature multiple times. And then we also have a copy public link option. This really comes in handy. Say, for example, you're submitting your brief digitally, and perhaps the court either requires or you find it would be beneficial to include a link to the document that you're citing so that it can be quickly and easily referenced. So this public link that you can see here is rather lengthy, but you can quickly copy it with just one click. And here is what it would display as. Anybody who is able to click that link would be able to see this document as it appears here. It's not a one paragraph teaser. You can read through the full document, but as you can see, you don't have the ability to conduct any research from this public link, or you can't review the items that have cited it from the public link or anything like that. It's just access to the document itself so that it can be read. We've seen this utilized as a function for submitting your brief and being able to link that way. We've seen that even utilized in social media when new law comes out. There are attorneys who have posted a public link on Twitter, for example, to discuss the new law that's come out. Because again, regardless of Fastcase access, whether you're logged in or if you just don't have Fastcase access, anybody you send that public link to will then be able to click on it. You could even share it with your client if needed. And so that would be the multitude of items in the share function. Something else that I like to point out is that you can copy the material within Fastcase, and when you paste it, it's going to paste including the citation. So let's just do a small example here. I'll pull up just a little notepad. So I have copied that particular paragraph you can see in the background. When I paste it, you'll notice the citation comes right along automatically. Find that to be particularly helpful. All you would need to do is, of course, add the page number itself. All right, so that is the primary function of our document screen. We've discussed accessing your results. How about getting back to the results, though? So the results, they do exist over on this left side of your screen, but perhaps you don't want to view the document any longer and you'd like to actually let the results take up the whole screen. You can click this arrow next to the results title, and that'll bring you back to the results page so that you can scroll through all of these results. So now let's go ahead and talk about your libraries. Your library lives here in the clock icon that I mentioned to you earlier today. If you give that a click, that's going to open your library. Your library contains your search history, your document history. This will take just a moment to load since we've just been looking at some new documents. But essentially all of the items in both your search history and your document history are clickable. This means that you can click on them to either reinitiate that search or to access the document from document history. Again, this will take a moment to load because of the access that we were just conducting. And then you have the opportunity to view your bookmarks here. So here you can see the listing of cases or other documents that I've bookmarked. And you can also see that I have 2 folders. These are just example folders. Important case. Doesn't everybody have an important case folder? Webinar. what you can see is when I click on the folder, it expands to provide the information contained within it. So if I have a particular document that I've added to my bookmarks and I decide, you know, this needs to live in my particular folder, I can click the folder icon here, and I can either choose what folder it should live in, or I can make a new folder. So if I click move here, you'll notice the document disappeared and now lives in my important case folder. Now the folders cannot be nested, so you can't have a folder inside of a folder, but they are going to be listed in alphabetical order. So if you would have created a nested folder, say for example, important cases, and then within important cases, I might have vehicle stuff. And another folder that I might have had would be arrests. Instead of having those folders nested, my recommendation is that you title them. My example would be important case, vehicle, important case, arrest. And so they'll appear in alphabetical order. That way, all of your important case folders exist on the in the same line, one right after the other, and you can quickly choose and access the particular submenu that you would have indicated. Now, also in this menu is your saved searches. There is an opportunity to save the searches that you've created. So in your search history, you'll notice here there's a star icon. If you click on the star, that'll add it to your saved searches. We can see here that's been added. What this does is it allows you to quickly create and re-access searches that you conduct regularly instead of having to retype them in. So if you regularly search for Miranda warning or the phrase dog bite, instead of going in every Friday and typing that search in to stay up to date with the current law coming out about it, you can have a search alert or a saved search so that you can just click on it to access it instead of typing it all out again. This particularly comes in handy with more lengthy searches. You can take that a step further also and create a search alert. Your case law alerts also live here in your library icon. So your case law alerts, what this does is it allows you to create a search and then create an alert for the search. So instead of on Friday going in, typing in your search and reviewing all of the new case law, you can create a case law alert, and that will send you an email anytime that a document has been added to our system that meets your search criteria. So you don't have to go in and manually run that search anymore. It's coming to your inbox. You can choose if that should happen daily, if that should happen weekly, or if that should happen monthly. If it's weekly or monthly, you can choose the day of the week, or you can choose the date of the month. And date of the month would also include like the third Thursday. And you can also choose from this menu. We'll take my dog bite example here. If you click the edit icon, you see you have the opportunity to change the frequency, as I just mentioned, but also what happens if there aren't any new results. So don't send me an empty email. I get enough emails. No, thank you. Or do send me an empty email. I like the reminder and I like knowing that it's working, whatever your preferences may be. You can also add additional recipients. So if you have created this and there is a partner in your firm who would also benefit from this, you could add them. Just a point of note there, though, we like consent. So be sure that you speak with the person who you're going to add to your recipients list and make sure this is in fact something they would like before adding them. There's nothing like getting emails you didn't sign up for. So just double check that. And you can change the name or create a name for your alert as well. And that typically shows up as your subject line. So you might be wondering, okay, well, so case alerts are a thing, but how do I make one? Not a problem. So here we have a search, and let's say this is your perfect search, the search that you conduct all of the time or really want to stay up to date on. It is the best. Not a problem. You'll notice that in our search menu, the search bar itself at the top of the screen, we have an X. That's so you can clear it out. And we have a little drop-down arrow. So if you click the drop-down arrow, you can choose to save the search. That would mean that later you'll want to click on it again. Or you can click to add it as an alert. That would mean you're creating that case law alert to come to your email inbox. When I click add as alert, that's going to just make the little menu here orange. That means that it is an alert in my system. And then I would be able to access them from my library. So let's talk about your export queue. And just for good measure, I'm going to add this document to my queue. We can see that the add to queue button is orange or colored in now. You can access your export queue by clicking this cloud icon. This allows your export menu to fully load. You'll notice that you have a current queue and then a list of past exports. So here I have a large multitude of cases listed in my current queue. And then below this, I have a listing of documents that I've downloaded over time. These include individual documents, as you can see here, as well as, if we scroll down a ways, my batches of exports. So where I downloaded a full queue of exports. These are all available to be exported again just by clicking the Export Again button. This is particularly helpful. Say you were conducting research on your laptop at home last night. You downloaded a case because it was perfect, but you didn't print it off and you didn't bring your laptop to work with you. You're working from your desktop at the office. You want the case again. You don't want to repeat the research. Now you could access it from your history, but you can also just quickly download it again by going to your exports and choosing Export Again. Not a problem. When you are ready to download a queue of exports, so a list of documents such as this, you'll click the export icon here at the current queue screen. This gives you the opportunity to create a name for your exports if you'd like, and you can choose between PDF or Word documents. Now this next option, dual column, you're familiar with. You can choose to download your cases in dual column format if you'd like. The last option that's provided here, single file or zip archive, a very important choice to make. So the single file option means that you will be downloading everything in your export queue inside one document that you would then scroll through to read all of those various cases inside of. Or you could choose zip archive. This will download a folder, and inside that folder would contain individual documents for each of the cases or statutes and what have you that are in your export queue. And whatever your batch name is what the file or folder will be titled. So make sure it's something presentable if you're going to be sharing it. And then you would just click the download icon. And that is the by and large of the export queue. Now, there was one other special little tip that I mentioned earlier, that handy dandy relevance option. I pointed out that you can change your sort order. It's defaulted to relevance, but there are a multitude of other options. But I also pointed out that you can find out what Fastcase deems as relevant, and you can change it. You can click your orange account menu icon in the upper right corner and choose Search Settings. From here, you'll see a multitude of other settings that are available that I fully encourage you to check out and make changes to as you see fit. But you'll also notice Customize Your Relevance Algorithm, and you can see what the current settings are. So we have 8 document properties, or 4 properties and 4 usage items that determine relevance in the Fastcase system. Responsiveness, importance, authority, date, frequently read, frequently favorited, frequently downloaded, and frequently emailed. And these are the sort of values that Fastcase has provided for relevance within our sort order. But these may not be your values, and you can change them. So let's say date is much more important to you. You certainly favor more recent documents. You can crank that right on up. But let's also say how frequently something is bookmarked or favorited by other attorneys in Fastcase just isn't important to you. You can pull it right down. After making your changes, you'll want to click the Save Changes icon, and that sticks those in place, and that'll change your sort order to your preferences. Now, to be clear, that does not change what documents appear in your results. It changes what order they appear in. Now, let's say you've made changes to this, you're doing your research, and then you are finding that it's just not quite working out the way you had hoped. The sort order is not quite what you wanted it to be. Not a problem. You can always reset to our default by clicking the Reset to Default and then clicking Save Changes. I can say that the relevant sort order that's determined here by Fastcase, our default, is highly regarded by a multitude of attorneys, not just those that are on staff with us, but attorneys that we've spoken with sort of at large across the United States as well. And then as our last sticking point, anytime you would like to return to the homepage, just click that Fastcase logo in the upper left corner. So at this time, I would like to take the opportunity to see if there are any questions. And it looks like we do have a couple that have come in. So I'm just going to read them aloud and then answer them as we go through. There's a question asking, are unpublished cases available? So that is A yes and a no. We do contain a multitude of unpublished cases, but we don't guarantee that we have the full scope of them for any particular library at one time. Now, you can always go to our coverage listing. I just have it memorized, but if you go to fastcase.com and you can scroll down to the very bottom here, just scroll, you'll notice there's a link that says coverage. And on this page, you can see a full listing of the libraries and their coverage within our system. So state courts, let's see, we'll scroll down to New Jersey, click the plus sign. So you can see we go back to 1885 from the New Jersey Supreme Court, etc. So you can see that full listing that's provided here, and that might be helpful for you. There's a question asking how to find legislative history of the New Jersey Fair Claims Insurance Act. I believe that's insurance. So the legislative history is typically included as a note at the bottom of all current statutes. So if you wanted to view, say, a past version of a statute, and it's within that scope of editions that are available on the browse menu, you could access it in that way. But if you just wanted to see a quick listing of, the bills and such that have amended it, those are typically amended at the bottom of the statutes if provided by the legislature. There's a question asking if there's access to the rules of evidence. I believe that is a yes. They will be included under the court rules on the left side of the browse menu. There's a question asking how to order a document to be printed out. Fantastic question. So Fastcase actually does not provide a direct print function. What we recommend is that you use our download function and then print from the download. Now you can always right click and then choose print from your browser menu. However, a lot of times that comes out very, very small because it's your either browser settings or print settings. And if you haven't changed them, that can be a bit difficult to read. All right, there was a question asking about finding subsequent history of case or cases citing that case. Again, you'll click the flag icon to the left of the document title. Searching results, will it return sources that we have to pay access to? Oh, that's a great question. So the documents that are in your search results depend on what it is that you've elected to search for. So if you're searching for cases, for example, it's only going to give you the cases that you've asked it for, whether that's a database that's included by the Bar Association or not included by the Bar Association. You can always find a handy listing there. We'll click Bar Associations here. We will pull it up together. So the New Jersey State Bar Association, there are upgrade options. So here you can see the New Jersey State Bar Association provides member benefits for these particular categories. And we do have an upgrade option for you if you would like to access items outside of that category. If you try to access something that's outside of your bar benefits, you'll receive a notification on the screen that it's not included with your current subscription, and it'll provide you with the opportunity to purchase. There's a question asking if there's any way to access a Lexis or Westlaw citation to an unpublished decision. Some courts require this if one is citing an unpublished decision. That's a fantastic question. Unfortunately, Westlaw and Lexis citations are not provided within Fastcase, and you can't search for them either. Those are actually copyrighted materials. Not quite. I'm not sure how best to explain that other than it's not a Fastcase identifier and it's not an official or regional reporter identifier, so we don't utilize it. There's a question asking, how can I obtain the latest version of Fastcase user guide, either as a download or on paper? Fantastic question. The one you have is very old. So the user guide itself may not be as recent or new as you think it is, but the user guide is available here through the help and support menu. When you click it, it's going to open our support page, and you can click on, for example, quick reference guide. That's going to just jump you down the screen a ways. The user guide is provided right here, and I believe it was last updated in March of last year. Let's see, is there a way to search for annotations in an entire statute title or subtitle rather than statute section? So if I understand correctly, you're asking, is there a way to search, is there a way to search for cases that are referencing a particular chapter or title rather than a specific statute inside of that chapter or title? That's a fantastic question. The best selection or suggestion I would have for that would be, say, for example, the statutes are typically typed in such a manner, 10, 10, 10. What you would do instead would be to put quotation marks around it, and you could try, can't guarantee it would work, For example, 1010 asterisk. That would be my best suggestion, but other than that, your best option would probably be to just navigate through the listing of statutes and review each one individually, or to conduct a search for the keywords that you're looking for cases that would be mentioning those. The last question we have is, can you tell us where the Fastcase link is on the New Jersey Bar Association website? That is a fantastic question that I unfortunately don't have the answer to. Abram, do you?
Yes, I do. Awesome. And then that's exactly what I was going to recap with. So thank you, anonymous attendee, for asking that. Great question to close out the webinar. You can actually go to the New Jersey website. You need to log in. So right here, I'm already logged in, but it will say log in. So once you put in your credentials, you actually then get a series of options under the membership tab. And under there, you will find the legal research Fastcase tab. I'll click it here if it allows me. Okay. All right, and here is where you click to access your Fastcase account, the page that Sam was just on, and you'll gain access. Only caveats to that is please, please, please ensure that your membership is up to date. You will not have access if you are not current with your membership, even by a day. So please ensure that your membership is up to date. On here, I will also put the on-demand webinar of this recording. So you'll find that coming here on this page. And then you can also find the user guide that Sam kindly pointed out on here. It is up to date on the latest one. And under the membership tab, you'll find your other benefits and discounts to other resources. And of course, if you have any questions regarding your benefits and how to access Fastcase, you can email membership@njsba.com. And we will gladly help you out with any questions or assistance. I see Peter asked, does NJSBA have half a year membership rate? We do not. It is an annual basis. So when the date you join, you will have to renew the following year. So, all right. Well, if that is it, thank you everyone for attending. We greatly appreciate Sam's time and expertise. And if you have any questions, please feel free to email membership@njsba.com. If we can't answer it, we will probably send it over to Sam for further technical assistance, and you will hear from either us or from her. So thank you again, and we hope you have a great one.